RiRi and ASAP Rocky finally set the record straight about their relationship. For months, the internet has been a pressure cooker of speculation. Every glance, every lyric, every public appearance became a headline. Fans dissected photos frame by frame. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds. One camp swore trouble was brewing. Another insisted love was stronger than ever. And through it all, Rihanna and ASAP Rocky stayed mostly silent until now. What finally happened wasn't a dramatic breakup post or a flashy announcement. It was something far more powerful: clarity. The silence that spoke loudest. Rihanna has always understood the power of quiet. In an era where celebrities rush to explain themselves, she chose restraint. No subtweets, no rushed interviews, no cryptic captions designed to trend. To many fans, that silence felt unsettling. Was something wrong? Had fame, pressure, and nonstop rumors finally cracked what looked unbreakable? ASAP Rocky, equally guarded, leaned into his work. Studio sessions ran late into the night. Fashion weeks came and went. Paparazzi caught glimpses, him alone, her alone, and suddenly, the internet decided it knew the truth. But silence doesn't always mean distance. Sometimes it means protection. Rumors versus reality. The rumors were relentless. They're drifting apart. They're living separate lives. The spark is gone. Yet behind closed doors, a very different story was unfolding. Friends close to the couple whispered that the noise was exactly why they pulled back. When the world is shouting, love sometimes needs a quiet room to breathe. Rihanna, a woman who has survived intense public scrutiny her entire life, knew one thing for sure: she didn't owe chaos an explanation. And Rocky, never one to fold under pressure, stood firm beside her, even when standing beside her meant standing in the storm. The moment everything shifted. Then came the moment fans weren't expecting. Not a glossy magazine cover, not a red carpet spectacle, not a viral rant. It was subtle, intentional, real. In a rare, calm exchange, measured and deeply personal, they made it clear. The relationship was never on the rocks. It was simply off limits to gossip. No defensiveness, no anger, just truth. They acknowledged the noise without feeding it. They addressed concern without inviting intrusion. And in doing so, they reminded the world that love doesn't need constant performance to be authentic. Rihanna's truth. Rihanna didn't sugarcoat anything. She spoke about growth, how relationships evolve when two people are building not just love, but a life. She admitted that being misunderstood hurts, but letting rumors dictate your happiness hurts more. Her message was simple, yet powerful. What's real doesn't have to shout. Made it clear that stepping back from the spotlight wasn't a sign of trouble. It was a sign of intention. Choosing peace over noise. Choosing privacy over applause. ASAP Rocky's stand. Rocky, known for his cool composure, surprised many with how grounded and sincere he was. He didn't play into macho narratives or dismiss emotions. Instead, he spoke about partnership, about choosing the same person even when the world is projecting stories onto you. He addressed one thing fans had been whispering about for weeks: commitment. Not in flashy promises, not in dramatic gestures, but in consistency, in showing up, in staying solid when headlines try to shake your foundation. Why fans are emotional. Once the truth surfaced, the reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Fans weren't angry anymore. They weren't confused. They were relieved. Because in a culture addicted to breakups and scandals, Rihanna and Rocky offered something different. A reminder that healthy love doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks boring to outsiders, and that's exactly why it lasts. Social media shifted overnight. Doubt turned into respect. Speculation gave way to admiration. And suddenly, the same people predicting the end were praising the strength it took to protect something so personal. The bigger picture. This wasn't just about a celebrity couple correcting rumors. It was about boundaries in the digital age, about reminding the world that public figures are still human beings with private lives, private conversations, and private struggles. Rihanna and ASAP Rocky didn't clap back. They didn't seek validation. They simply told the truth and let it stand. Where they stand now, stronger, calmer, unbothered. They're not trying to prove anything anymore. Not to fans, not to critics, not to the internet. Their relationship isn't a headline, it's a reality, lived quietly and intentionally. And maybe that's the most powerful statement of all. Final takeaway. RiRi and ASAP Rocky didn't just set the record straight, they rewrote the rules. Love doesn't need to trend to be real. It just needs honesty, respect, and the courage to choose each other when the noise gets loud. If you want, I can. Turn this into an ultra-viral YouTube script. Create a 16:9 thumbnail concept with a dramatic arrow. Push it even further, with more emotion, shock, and suspense. RiRi and A$AP Rocky finally set the record straight about their relationship. For months, no years, the internet has been absolutely obsessed with one question. What is really going on between RiRi and A$AP Rocky? Are they secretly married? On the brink of a breakup? Quietly rebuilding? Hiding something massive from the world? Well, the silence is over. And when Rihanna and A$AP Rocky finally decided to speak, they didn't whisper. They shook the internet to its core. The pressure that nearly broke them. From the very beginning, their relationship lived under a microscope. Every outfit, every lyric, every facial expression became evidence for fans and critics alike. If Rihanna smiled alone, something was wrong. If Rocky showed up solo, trouble in paradise. The rumors grew darker. They're drifting apart. Rocky feels overshadowed. Rihanna chose motherhood over love. They're only together for the kids. And the cruelest one of all, they've already emotionally checked out. Sources whispered. Headlines screamed. Comment sections turned vicious. But what the public didn't see was the toll it was taking behind closed doors. Rihanna's breaking point. Those close to Rihanna say there were nights she scrolled through her phone in silence, reading speculation about her own life, about her own heart, as if strangers knew her better than she knew herself. This wasn't just gossip anymore. It was erasing her truth. She had built an empire, survived heartbreaks, reinvented herself again and again. But this time, the narrative felt personal, because this wasn't just about romance. It was about family, identity, legacy. And according to insiders, that's when Rihanna said the words that changed everything. We don't owe the world our pain, but we won't let them lie about our love. A$AP Rocky's silent struggle. While Rihanna faced the storm publicly, A$AP Rocky fought his own quiet battle. Friends say he hated seeing the woman he loved painted as distant or cold. Hated being reduced to a background character in her story. And most of all, hated the idea that people believed he wasn't fully present. Behind the scenes, Rocky was juggling pressure, fatherhood, public expectations, and his own inner demons. One source revealed, he wasn't pulling away, he was holding on for dear life. And when the rumors hit their peak, Rocky reportedly told Rihanna, if we don't speak now, they'll write our ending for us, the moment they finally spoke up. Then came the moment no one expected. No flashy announcement, no dramatic Instagram caption, no perfectly staged photo shoot, just honesty. In a rare, deeply personal conversation, they set the record straight, not with rage, but with clarity. Their message was simple and devastatingly powerful. They are not broken. They are not pretending. They are not living for public approval. What they are doing is protecting their peace. Love doesn't always look loud. Rihanna addressed the biggest misconception head-on, the idea that love must be constantly visible to be real. We don't need to perform our relationship. Love doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like survival. That single statement alone sent fans into an emotional spiral, because suddenly everything made sense. The quiet, the distance from the spotlight, the focus on family. It wasn't separation, it was preservation. A$AP Rocky's powerful confession. Rocky followed with words that stunned even longtime fans. I found peace where I least expected it, and I'll protect that with everything I have. He admitted that growth isn't glamorous, that real love doesn't trend, that being a man sometimes means choosing silence over ego. And then he said the line that absolutely shattered the internet. I'm not going anywhere. No ambiguity, no room for doubt. Why this hit fans so hard? Fans weren't just emotional because of the confirmation. They were emotional because of the realness. This wasn't a fairy tale. This was two people choosing each other every day, even when it's messy, exhausting, and misunderstood. In a world addicted to chaos, RiRi and Rocky chose boundaries over noise, family over frenzy, truth over trends, and suddenly the narrative flipped. What's next for RiRi and Rocky? Are they planning a wedding? Another baby? A surprise album? A complete disappearance from the spotlight? They didn't say. And that might be the loudest statement of all. Because for the first time, the world isn't controlling their story. They are. Final thought. RiRi and ASAP Rocky didn't just clarify rumors. They reminded us that love doesn't owe explanations, and strength doesn't need applause. And whether the internet likes it or not, their bond is real. Their choice is final, and their story is still being written.